So here to talk through the star battle puzzle by JinHoo Ahn called Diagonal Borders. JinHoo's written a few star battle books for us, including Starter Pack 5, which is a good book if you're trying to get into this style of learning some of the common patterns of regions. This is actually a super simple shape. If it's a 1x3 box or even just a little more extra on it, you can't take this cell or this cell because you'd eliminate all the rest. So the only way to get 2 stars in a region like that is to take the 2 that are farthest apart. Canceling out this bottom row that's now complete, we're making effectively another region of that same shape. And so this is another instant fill that we can put into the grid. Now we have a set of different things you can look at. And one of the things you may notice, we've now made effectively 3x3 box-like regions, and the 3x3 box can never take this cell. So we now are actually in a case where we've got this V pentomino shape. A thing to note about that is you'll always take at least 1 in this column and 1 in this row. So notice, like, as I pack this, if I took this cell or this cell, I always am getting 1 in this row. And as I pack these, I would always take 1 in this column. So a kind of notation on paper you can take is you at least have 1, maybe 2 in this space, similarly 1, maybe 2 in this space. Same thing over on this side with this 7th row in this last column. And there's also a cell you can mark off here. But that's not going to get you the key break-in of the puzzle, but it's a good way to be thinking and notating some stuff. The key break-in is going to be seeing we actually have this very small group here, this very small group here, that's 2, this group here, 3, this group 4. We have 4 regions that span these 4 rows and need to place all their 8 stars across them, which means the regions that don't sit in that space can't put stars down there. And you could have spotted this a different way. If you counted from the top, we have these 1, 2, 3, 4 regions here that have to account for all of the 8 stars in these first 4 rows. And so these extra cells that I've just canceled with X's can't be taken, or you can't get 8 stars in the top. So this is a kind of rule when you look at regions together that's really useful in medium difficulty star battle puzzles like this one. So if all those X's marked, what's the most key place we've made progress? It's probably this 5th row, because I now have a star that can go in one of those 2 cells and a star that must go over here to get 2 in that row. That cancels this space and now interacts with this region, which now has a star in one of these 3 and a 4th star here. That actually cancels these cells, moves this node over, and that finishes this last column, puts a star down here. In this next region that's being touched to it, we need a star in one of these 2 positions and a star right here. That's going to finish this row out, and it also now moves this clue over to the left. So it marks this out, marks a clue down here. We've got 2 stars in the 7th row. And we also now have just 2 spaces left for stars in the 6th row. So these go in straight away. This region now has to have a star down here. That's going to interact with this cell, move this node to the left, cancel these, move a star here, put a star in here. And we now have a ton of progress at the bottom. So let's now look vertically and see where we finished rows or columns. In this case, we finished the 1st column, 4th column, 6th column. We've effectively marked the 8th and 9th columns and 10th columns through our notes. So one thing we can see is the 7th column still needs another star. That moves this out, moves this over, this down, and this to the left. So all these work. This 3rd row needs another star. That's now going to cancel these, and you'll actually see across this pattern, this has to take this position, but that finishes the column, takes this star, finishes this column. We've got these 2 nodes here, but notice the 1st row is complete, the 2nd row is empty, these all move down, and we're through to the finish of this grid. So hopefully a good example of star battle puzzles that helps you get excited to see more by JinHoo. For sure it had a nice start with similar shapes at the bottom, but the main rule was really a dividing line across this 4th and 5th row. There are a few regions at the top, and those must be used in the 4th row and above, which leaves out some cells. And so that key break-in, seeing this star here and a position of one of the stars in these other 2 cells in the 5th row, is really the way to make headway in this medium level puzzle. So hopefully you enjoyed seeing this video, and please check out JinHoo's books if you enjoy Star Battle. Thanks, we'll see you again soon.